Hello and good morning, my friends. Welcome to Wednesday. What an interesting week. It's been so exciting. And it's going to get even more exciting because today we're looking at the full Beaver moon. I love the full Beaver moon. I'm Canadian and proud of it. So, that beaver, of course, is such an important symbol for us. But the beaver itself is a very resourceful little guy. And it's in that resourcefulness and pre-planning that we're going to get the most out of the full Beaver moon. Kind of stepping off of what the full Hunter moon was bringing us, making sure that we were prepping for the winter. The full Beaver moon really talks about that hibernation, making sure we have everything so we don't need to go out. So it is a step off of it, similar vein. But similar to that of when you get into the summer, you're looking at that harvest and that tending of the gardens. We're getting into that, ooh, winter's getting here. It's cold outside. And speaking from experience, it is cold outside now. Knock on wood, we haven't got snow yet, but it's coming. Well, sorry, we've had a little bit of snow, but it hasn't stuck around. So let me know how you guys are doing. How is the winter? I know that down east in the North American area has received some snow and yuck. You guys okay? How are you doing? All right. Now, this is a really exciting reading because not only is it the full Beaver moon, but on the 19th, when we have the full Beaver moon in its highest point, we're going to have a lunar eclipse. Now, little bit about the full moon. The full moon is a little bit more jarring than that of a new moon. Both bring in new aspects. It's just the full moon brings it in a little bit more suddenly. And when you combined the new moon or the full moon with an eclipse, eclipses are like slamming doors. Think of it as the moon really getting in your face. How I like to kind of differentiate between the new moon and the full moon is think of it as your mom. So a divine feminine energy waking you up in the morning. The new moon, it's so gentle. It's time to get up, dear. It's morning. New moon, if you don't get up, I'm going to bring up the cold water. You really got to get out of bed now. A full moon with an eclipse, it's got those horns, the buzzers, ice water, and is throwing you out of bed. So, yeah. How I want to work this reading, I'm going to be using, I love this deck. This is the the Northern Animal Tarot. It was created by a woman in Edmonton, Alberta. I love it. So that's going to be for the full moon. Now we can start to embrace the full moon energy now. It's 2 days before the full moon and then 2 days after the full moon. So you have 5 days of full moonness. This is the Guardian of the Night Tarot. I'm going to be using this for the eclipse. The eclipse is only Friday night, so it's going to be a lot of Friday night fun. I'm going to be using this for the full moon reading. And I'm going to be kind of summing everything up with the Sacred Earth Oracle. Sorry, it wasn't coming out right. Just to give you a little bit of a connector support for embracing these two energies. Now, like always, I do have them linked below. The Guardian of the Night and the Northern Animal Tarot were both Kickstarter programs, and they have independent websites. So I don't know what the supplies are like that for these two decks. They're fantastic. The artists are amazing. Love supporting new decks like that. So I haven't had any come in recently. I'm waiting very impatiently for one to come in, but I do reviews on some of the decks that I get, especially the ones that may not be as mainstream. All right, let's get into this. What does the full Beaver moon want to share with my friends? I love this deck. It has a nice linen feel. It's just a nice, beautiful deck. A lot of cards have a very matte finish. These cards, I don't know if it's going to come up, but it's got this really pretty linen feel to it. So I really enjoy this deck. I don't use it enough. I love it. The Four of Cups. Such a fantastic card. So the full moon is going to help you really, or sorry, not the Four of Cups, the Six of Cups. Sorry. I'm reading it backwards. Sorry, the Six of Cups. Hi, Lily. Sorry, I haven't finished my first cup of tea, so I can't count. But the Six of Cups. Fantastic card to start off with because we're looking at that reminiscing, looking at that past. Many of us don't know what we want to do or how we want to go forward. Best way to do is to look back at how far you've come and what you're most proud of. What things have you been able to accomplish for you? What things bring you that fulfillment and joy? That's what the full moon wants you to start off with. We're going to get into more and more, but those things that are really meaningful for you, that's important. It's going to help fuel you. It's going to help move you forward through some of the shimmying and banging that's coming forward. It's going to help with those decisions. This is the Two of Wands. Twos, of course, are about duality and choice. That wand is that life-giving aspect. So we have that connection, those ahas coming forward. However, in our current state, we aren't going to see it because we're so caught up in stuff. Going back and reflecting, where are you now? What shifting have you done in the last 3 months, the last 6 months, the last year, the last 2 years? What has come about from that shifting? That is going to help fuel you to make more decisions that are going to feed you. They're going to bring you that joy, that abundance. Because we get caught up in the expectations, the demands, the craziness that's going on globally. We get we get caught up in our way. We get in our way and we can't get anywhere. We need that foundation of understanding. The Nine of Pentacles. I love this deck. So the Nine of Pentacles, of course, you're looking at that abundance. We have it. We have it in all aspects of our lives. We hyper-focus in on the monetary or the financial. It's the easiest to see. Or we get caught up in what we don't have. Again, missing out on what we do. We need to be focused in on what's here and what's now, what's giving us joy and happiness, what's giving us that life. We feel good when we're participating in it. We get meaning out of our day. We look forward to it. Those are aspects that are going to help fuel us and help us move ourselves forward. I just said that. The Three of Wands. The decisions we make now in the two are going to highly impact that ability to move forward. We're standing in our own way. And we do that all the time. The full Beaver moon is going to help us shift out of our own way. Really reflect in on what's going right, that abundance, and help us feel stronger to stand up and engage in that next step. And that next step it's coming forward because we have that lunar eclipse. Eclipses, like I said, are like slamming doors. This is where your mom gets mad and starts to slam and bang and push. This is what's happening. Okay, so what further insight, wisdom, and guidance can we share with my friends for the full Beaver moon. The one thing I'm sad about in the northern animal tarot is that there are no beavers. I don't think there's any beavers. I haven't seen any. There's deer, there's moose, there's fox, there's weird badgery things, bunnies. Oh yeah. Do you believe I just said that? The Wheel of Fortune. That shift. Now, the difference between major arcana and minor arcana is that major arcana deal with the bigger aspects, those bigger picture pieces, whereas the minor arcana are everyday aspects, how we create these bigger pieces, how we get that shift, how we embrace it. So we're going to be looking at a big shift that's brought on with our everyday activities, with that reflection, with that connection, with some decision making. It's going to be on that high vibration. It doesn't matter what's happening globally. These decisions need to fuel your fire. They need to be connected in with that abundance. They need to keep you grounded and stable. So we're not talking leaps of faith changes, because leaps of faith are unstable. We're not talking about changing everything. Shifting aspects and adding on to things that are bringing you that abundance. I never encourage people to do these big changes in their lives, because if you don't have that stability, that fear, those what ifs overpower you and you miss out on the change. The change comes through stable maintenance. So if you build up to that change, you don't have as much fear. So adding things into your everyday goes a long way to really maintaining that change. As I'm holding the card that I was talking about, I love that. This is the Five of Wands. That conflict, that fear. This is mostly that inner passion, that negative self-talk comes forward. We all do it. Some of us are just more proficient than others, and others we can ignore it. We need to be making shifts and changes that minimize this. This is what's holding us back. It's barking out and minimizing all these amazing aspects that are already there. I do have lots of supports on my channel to help people to really connect in with the energies, the opportunities that are being presented. And so one of them is a meditation that I did with Archangel Raguel. It's a balancing meditation between thoughts and beliefs. Now, I have 3 meditative playlists and 1 mindfulness playlist. They're all guided. They range in time. And most importantly, they're free. You can revisit them as much as you want. I'm not a monetized channel. This is all for you guys to really enjoy. So, fantastic meditation to help minimize some of this. The more grounded and stable, that centered energy, we're dealing with the high vibrational self, where we're looking at using our third eye and our frontal cortex, which is where we're going to get that creativity and thought pattern. When we're in this conflict, that negative self-talk, we're back here in our rudimentary brain. There's no thought pattern there. There's no process. You're just beating yourself up. And it's not only you do it. No. As a species, we excel at that. We excel at pushing ourselves into a corner so we don't feel so, I guess, empowered. It's part of our ego. I don't understand it. It did have a purpose at one time, but now it's just really holding us back. Love this card. The Page of Pentacles. Pages are that childlike, innocent energy that's full of inquisitivity and excitement for life. We have the Pentacle. really reminding us and amplifying that need for grounded, stable planning, thoughts, energy, helping to really root us in at where we're at. Because where we're at is how we're going to move ourselves forward. If we are so monkey brain, where so much is going on and we're not present here, we can't make shifts and changes because we can't even acknowledge or identify where we're at right now. We need that mindful planning, that, and I know that doesn't sound fun, and reflection, that knowledge. Asking those hard questions for self, exploring, not getting caught up in the past, those, oh my gods, I can't believe I did this. No, this is about exploring. Where are you at? Where have you come from to right now? That knowledge is really going to support you in moving forward. The Nine of Cups. There are two abundance cards in the deck. One, of course, is the Nine of Pentacles, and then the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Pentacles talks more about that physical, tangible abundance, whereas the Cups talk more about that intuitive, emotional, the connection balance or abundance. They're balanced out here, really reminding you of that scope and depth, that cornucopia of abundance that you have. We may not be able to see it so well. We have it. Now we do have the double nines. When you have that multiple nine, when you see that all the time, the angels are telling you that abundance is coming your way. You need to stay true to this path, which is very true here. We're shifting out away from that conflict, that low vibrational stuckness, and moving towards that abundance, that very mindful, very fulfilled energy. The Four of Swords. Probably one of the few swords that people can really get behind. Many of us struggle with the sword just because it is, it can be very challenging. The sword, the suit of swords, is all about knowledge. In our pursuit of knowledge, we establish, or like we put emotion to it because we're emotional beings. And so it's the emotions that this knowledge or the events, the situations hold that really aggravates us, because we've all been at situations where we've felt that cold, hard steel, that reality. So the Four of Swords talks about rest and rejuvenation. He is not dead. He is sleeping. That sun is rising. We have battles to wage. We have exciting adventures to partake in. We need that rest, that rejuvenation, that aha. That's what we're going to get in the full Beaver moon. A lot of that rest and rejuvenation with really taking stock so that we can make those decisions to move forward. Like I said before, the full Beaver moon, the moon itself rises at its fullest point on Friday night. We have the ability to tap into this energy now, 2 days before and 2 days after. So we have 5 days. So we can really start to gain this knowledge. We can do it in a slow, steady space and not aggravate or overwhelm ourselves, because we can easily get caught up in that heartache, get caught up in those emotions. That's not going to help us. If we get caught up in that heart, like that heart center where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe, woe is me. That's when you need to stop. Your mind, your spirit and soul are saying this is not what you need right now, so that you can take that break, balance life out, do something different, and come back to it, so that you can really feel that energy of productivity rather than that aggression. Okay, so On Friday night, we do have the eclipse. Let's look at the eclipse. I'm going to tie these two together with the oracle deck. But let's get into the eclipse first. What does the lunar eclipse hold, my friends? Now, the lunar eclipse, unlike the full moon energy, it's not a 5-day experience. It's more of a 1-day slam, if you will. And it doesn't matter if you can't see it. It's a partial lunar eclipse. So some people may see it, or depending on where you are, it could be overcast, or you could be in the city and can't really see it too well. That's okay. It's still there. We don't usually see Mercury retrograde, but how impactful is that to our everyday? So that doesn't matter. So don't think, oh, well, it's not part of my geography. It doesn't show on the map that it's going to impact us. It's going to impact us. It's energy. Energy does not go, oh, well, it's not supposed to hit there. I'll ignore it. It's going to go global, guys. Sweet, though. The High Priestess. So on Friday night, we're going to have that ability to really connect into some of those ahas using that third eye, our intuitive energies to our advantage. There are many, many things that the High Priestess holds. She's a keeper of knowledge. In the original deck that Pamela Coleman Smith drew, there's this very stoic woman with the triple aspect crown. Behind her is this like really wild screen. For those who've ever wondered, those are pomegranates. Okay. They look more like pineapples to me, but they're pomegranates. And behind it, if you look in behind the screen, you can see that there's something in the background. That's that intuitive energy, those ahas. It's a utopia of beauty, wonder, and of course, water, because water is very connected to that intuitional energy. So the eclipse is going to help us not only connect into it, but the more connected we are into it, the more we're going to get out of that Friday night fun. I said the swords can be challenging. The Three of Swords. Some of the stuff that's going to come up in the eclipse is going to be very painful. It's going to really shake that heart center. We need to be mindful of that. We need to be very proactive and using our head and our intuitional self rather than our heart center. If we start to feel overwhelmed, or we start to feel that the emotion is running us, especially if we're getting into that victim mentality. So we need to ground ourselves and open ourselves up to the here and now. If all else fails, if you really get caught up in that energy, I would suggest doing one of my grounding meditations or any of my meditations, because you're focusing in on your breath. Additionally, when you're in a meditative state, your third eye is more active. Our intuitions are more reactive, where we're gaining more insight. So that can really help with that pain and help release it, connecting into the insight you really need. Seven of Pentacles, reminding us of what I just said. When things get hard and heavy, it's time to focus in on that grounding so we can focus in on the work that needs to get done. Because the 7 is talking about that hard work. And it is going to be hard work. Is it going to be back-breaking work? No. It's not the same kind of work. This is work that is more spiritual and emotional than physical. And then finally, the 4 of Wands. Can I tell you how much I enjoy the fact that the full moon is right behind those magpies? Just saying. The 4 of Wands, it's a rite of passage card. The full Beaver moon eclipse is really going to help us get some of that heartache gunkiness out, some of that emotional baggage, if you will. Think of it as a cup that you're holding on the inside. There's only so much we can hold before that cup overflows and we feel overwhelmed. Well, the full moon eclipse is going to come in and take out some of that gunk that we've been holding on to. Some of it is stuff that we've done in this lifetime, but most of it is stuff that we're carrying, stuff from past lifetimes, stuff that we're carrying on the genetic line. So whether that genetic line is from our astral family or our physical, biological family, it doesn't matter. And we're not going to, it's not like they're going to go, okay, and this is what we're taking. This is what it looks like. Here, see? No, it's just, we're going to take it out and get it gone. We don't need to re-traumatize ourselves. We don't need to relive it. We need to embrace it so that we can really gain those ahas. That's why it's important that during the full moon that we're resting and really focusing in on that abundance and not allowing that negative self-talk to dissuade us of what's going to happen. The more we can be open and embracing the lunar eclipse, the more gunky yuckiness we're going to get rid of because it's holding us back. It's sticky and gross. Let's get rid of it. It's not serving us in any way other than to cause us pain and heartache. All right, what further insight, wisdom, and guidance can we share with my friends for the, come on, card, the lunar eclipse? Now, I will publish on my channel and on my social medias. I have a spread that I use for the lunar eclipse. I didn't want to do it here because I didn't feel that it was necessary. But individually, if you want to play with it, it's a great spread. So I'll publish that later this week. One of my favorite queens. She be sassy. Oh, yeah. So the Queen of Wands talks about owning our abilities ourselves in that sassy, fiery way. Wands are about that fulfillment, that connection, that creativity. The full moon or the full lunar eclipse is really going to help us kind of get rid of some of that stuff that is causing darkness and shadow in ourselves, uncertainty about ourselves, helping us to get to that soul place, to where we're truly at. We have that rite of passage. We need to embrace it. The stability of the full moon, that full divine feminine energy, is going to help us to get through that passage. And the nice thing is that on the Sunday, on the 21st, we're looking at the International Men's Day. So we have the divine masculine kind of helping to pick us up and get us strong and stable again. Because a lot of times when we're working in that spiritual emotional aspect, that emotion can get really overwhelming. And so we need to release it. Another meditation that comes to my mind right now is one I did with Archangel Metatron. It was way back in 2020. I've got lots of meditation, guys, but it's a releasing meditation where you're releasing some of that gunkiness. Again, not re-traumatizing us in any way, just releasing it. We don't need to identify it to release it. Temperance. She's the 14th card in the Major Arcana, and it's usually an angel standing on a rock, and then on the other foot, she has her foot submerged in the water. There's beautiful green grass growing around. There's a path towards the mountain, this weird kind of astrological crown, and there's irises all over. It's a beautiful card. It's a card of balance. It's a card of energy flow because she's also got water, or she has two cups, and there's kind of this water flowing between the two cups. The trick is the water's not coming from the top cup. It's actually coming from the bottom, and it goes upwards. talking about that need to be intentional with our energy, talking about the need to intentionally be grounded, stable, and centered. The more we're focused in on that, the more the eclipse is going to support us with that rite of passage, helping us with that shift and change that we so desperately want right now. The Seven of Cups, also known as the seven deadly sins. Now, the Seven of Cups talks about these opportunities that are all around us. We all have them. And we have a tendency to go, oh my God, what if? What if I choose the wrong one? Not really how it should roll. For one, if you ever start a sentence with what if, I want you to reflect into it. Why is that causing you anxiety? Those what ifs, that's an anxiety question. What if? Goes back to the Chicken Little book that you may have read when you were little, where Chicken Little run around saying the sky's falling. What if? It's not going to help. The Seven of Cups actually talks about opportunities. And it doesn't matter which of these cups you choose. They're all going to bring you information and an experience. They're going to gain more insight into whatever it is you're looking at. There's not necessarily a wrong choice. There's going to be choices that you'll be like, oh, this is really where your high vibrational team is sending you. So if they're sending you to this cup, there's a reason. It's going to be easier. It's going to be less challenge. It's going to be what you need. But if you say choose this cup, it's not necessarily wrong. You will still get to the path that you need to be on. It's just you're going to experience something else. You're going to be able to release patterns that are holding you back in a different way. These paths that we take, these choices that we make, and yes, it is a blessing, and yet at the same time, a bit of a bear is free will. We are not going to make choices that are so far gone that we will not get back to that path that is where we need to be. If we make a lower vibrational choice, we still have the ability at any time to make a high vibrational choice. Right? That penalization, that kind of giving yourself the punishment because the choice was not the perfect choice, that's us, again, trying to hold ourselves back. It's not about that. It's about making a choice to the best of your ability. Now we have the High Priestess in play. If you are doing some of the meditations that I suggested, or you're connecting in with your team, you're going to have a better ability to make the choice that's going to be high vibrational with less baggage. And for my friends who've seen it, I have a pendulum tutorial. It's Pendulum 101, or it's Channeling 101 Pendulum. Awesome, awesome tool to support you in clarifying. Is this the choice I should make? Yes, no. And if it's no, then you can be like, okay, I'm not on the right track. Doing some more meditation, doing some more reflection. High vibrational choices are not going to go away. There is no pressure tactic to it. If you feel like that opportunity or situation is going to go away quickly, check into it. It's low vibration. Because the universe, your high vibrational beings, are not going to pressurize you into something, because pressurization, that intimidation, it's low vibrational energy. So if you feel like it's a pressure tactic, or like a used car salesman who's like, only for now, for 10 more seconds, you can get, really check into it. Grab your pendulum and also check in and reflect into self. Are you the one who's putting that time limit on? Because we have that tendency too, because we're like, oh my God, what if I don't make this decision right now? That inner conflict. These cards are going to impact this, because this is for the next 5 days. This is for Friday. Friday night when the eclipse happens. That is think of it as that door slamming. This happens. Okay. The high priestess is there. You're going to find you are very, very emotional. The heartache, the pain. So I'm saying do a meditation, get out of here, get into here. Because that heartache and pain, we're all carrying it. We have crap from this lifetime, past lifetimes, we're carrying it from every which direction. Get out of the heart center, start to use up here. It will help you so very much. It'll also help you with this because you're going to be able to, okay, you know what? I know that there's going to be some pretty cool opportunities happening on Friday night. I'm getting out my handy dandy pendulum, going to prime that baby and get her rolling. I love this rendition of the devil, the jackalope. So the devil is the 15th card in the major arcana. And of course, our ego is the one thing that's going to be holding us back. We truly are our worst enemies. It's crazy. Because a lot of these opportunities, a lot of those what ifs and oh my gods that we're going to get with some of these opportunities are coming right from that ego. What if, what if, what if? You can't do this. No, no, no. That's all low vibration. Again, you can take control of that. The more grounded you are, the lower that voice gets. The more high vibrational you are, so the more you're using up here, you're critically thinking. So you're asking those questions. Got the Page of Pentacles here. Ask those and get hard, guys. Be hard on yourself. Let that inner toddler out and let them ask those hard questions that you've been avoiding because, well, they're hard. And they might hurt my feelings. Use here, not here. It will help you so very much because we are going to have some amazing opportunities. They're opportunities, not guarantees. The only time you have a guaranteed shift or an abruptness is when the tower's at play. We don't have the tower, which is good. We have free will still. There are still lots of opportunity here. If the tower was in play, we'd have one. We'd have no control. And literally, that is when the fan gets really dirty. All right. Let's go into what's going to help you guys. What supports and guidance can we add for my friends to support them in getting the most out of the full Beaver moon and the lunar eclipse? When having so many cards on the table, they start to interact. Love this deck. It's so beautiful. Perception. I love the fact that there's this ornate design on her third eye. That perception and that connection to your third eye is going to be so important. Using all your senses, not getting caught up in your heart, but all your senses, all your clairs, your physical sense, your sight, your hearing, your touch. It's all going to be impactful, especially over the next 5 days. We have lots of information, lots of ahas being thrown at us. We just need to be open to that aha in whatever format it comes to us in. Because hands down, guys, the majority of my clients, the majority of my students, the clairs that they've shut down are sight and hearing, your clairvoyance and clairaudience. Why? Because of trauma, something that we saw or heard. Or, and depending on when you were born, this one becomes more prevalent as you're a bit older, the fear of prosecution. You were told by family members and friends, you're crazy. You have a mental disease. You're going to be sent to a padded room. Or, and this did happen to a number of people, they were medicated. So they're shut down to fear. They're hard to reconnect in. Not impossible, harder, more of a challenge. You have to work at it. We do have clairs that we did not shut down. So that's clairordinance, which is the clear thinking, and clairsentience, which is the clear feeling. Feeling like someone's there, someone putting their hand on their shoulder, kissing you on the forehead. Common ones. This potential, that inner child, that soul person. We have the potential to connect in more fully with them, letting them out, getting rid of some of that gunkiness so they can shine. We have that body, that vessel that's housing our soul, that has been so bogged down and kind of protected by our ego. We needed it. Don't get me wrong. We would have not survived adolescence if we did not have that fluffy puffiness. It's not serving us anymore. It's time to get rid of it. Your ego, not going to be happy about it. That's why those slow, steady steps, it does help in combating the ego, because your ego doesn't see it happening. It's just a slow progression. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, what? It helps. Space. It was right back into the Four of Swords. Giving yourself that space and time, guys. Time. We're going to start a process. The eclipse is going to help kind of shake us forward, but this is an ongoing process. So if we're able to get some of that gunk out of our cup, we need to let the set, because anytime, like if you were to put your hand in a fishbowl and scoop up some of the rocks at the bottom, all sorts of stuff starts to float around in the water. Same deal. You have a whole bunch of different emotions, situations, gunkiness that will settle again. That's why this is going to take some time. There's no quick band-aid to this. You get that gunk out, you don't worry. Anytime you release stuff, your team is there to turn it back into a high vibrational energy. But you get rid of it, let it settle, giving yourself time to rejuvenate and recuperate, and do it again. There is no time set on this. It's really how you're able to do this. That's why this space is so important, giving yourself that ability to take the time. Because every information that I ever get on timeline for this is how long is a piece of string, and this is going to take time. I know that I've had clients who've passed on and haven't finished it. It can take lifetimes, guys. We're carrying baggage. Some people were like frequent flyers. They go from one life to a next, to a next, to a next. You're carrying so much stuff we don't understand, stuff we're seeing in dreams that doesn't make any sense, but scares the hell out of us. We got to release it. We don't want to re-traumatize ourselves. We just need to release it. Specialization. We have a beautiful gift, a beautiful center that is going to create wonders and miracles. And it really does look like this, where there is so much going on, and we have to start to piece it all together, allowing it out. And the easiest way to do that is doing it one aspect at a time. So we can get to know that one aspect, really become proficient in it before allowing out another. Again, talks about that space. It takes some time. And it's okay. We have it. If we don't do it in this lifetime, it's going to be another one. Rediscovery. Connection, that understanding of self. I'm running out of desk room. I mentioned this earlier. patterns. We're going to help rediscover ourselves. And in some of these options, we're going to be able to break even more patterns. Like I said, it's not oh, this is really correct and oh, this is really wrong. It's just, what is it that you want to do next? What's going to be meaningful for you? Is it more rest and rejuvenation to really bring ourselves up because we've just healed a lot? Or is it time to do some really big releasing, helping us to connect in more, helping us to regain more control and break more patterns? Or is it time to just reconnect into the patterns that we're currently taking? There are a lot of options, and none of them are going to be wrong. It's going to be what's meaningful for you. I want to thank you guys so very much for joining me today. I hope this helped you to get a good idea of what you can expect for the full moon and for the eclipse. I'm going to be live again on Friday to explore the next week, which is the last full week of November. And for my American friends, of course, we have the American Thanksgiving and Black Friday. So next week should be so much fun to explore. I want to thank you guys so very much for joining me today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. It does help people find me on the sea of YouTube, helps them to connect in and get the aha and supports they need. And for you, if you haven't subscribed, fantastic idea to do that so that you don't miss out. I'm live almost every Friday. However, I'm also live throughout the week. So to ensure that you don't miss live sessions, readings, healings, what have you, subscribing helps you to know when I'm online. So again, I want to thank you for joining me today. And until tomorrow, my friends.